Pozdrav dragi narode, dobrodošli u još jednu epizodu Slobodni. Naša današnja tema je umjetna inteligencija, odnosno specijalni dio umjetne inteligencije koji se naziva Agentic AI. Što je to Agentic AI? Danas ćete saznati, zato što je to naša skora budućnost. Vrlo skora. Moj današnji gost je istraživač, autor, piše, istražuje i danas ćemo obraditi posebno tu temu zato što je vrlo aktualna. Njegovo ime je gospodin Jakob Nordengård. Hello, Jakob. Welcome to our show in Croatia.
Hello, Andrija, and thanks for having me on the show again.
It's nice to see you, and there is really lots of things to discuss about, but most important one is something what is our present and very short-term future. And we find it call it Agentic AI, but they are transferred already in document where they are call it Agentic State. Can you explain us what is Agentic State?
Well, the Agentic State, what they describe in the white paper from the Global Government Technology Center in Berlin, is a fundamental shift in governance, where AI systems can perceive, reason, and act with minimal human intervention to deliver public value. That's their definition.
Mm-hmm. That means that instead of humans, our governments in cities and also in states will be run by artificial intelligence.
Yes, that is correct.
And they are calling this Agentic State because they are building agents, artificial intelligence agents. Can you tell us how they are building these artificial intelligence agents?
Well, that's a kind of a technical question, but it's kind of difficult for me to explain. The AI agents, they will encompass a wide range of functions beyond natural language processing, including decision-making, problem-solving, interacting with external environments, and performing actions. And they are already used to a big degree already in a lot of systems. But this time they want to implement this in government operations. Yes.
What is the purpose of Agentic State?
The purpose is to change government operations totally, and to use these AI systems instead of humans. And they say that this will revamp functional layers of government and public administration, and they have a 10-point program for this. And some of these things that I highlight in my article is about crisis response and resilience, and compliance and reporting. So this basically means that an AI systems will decide and take action upon crisis when it happens. They also talk about something called polycrisis in this report, and that polycrisis is something that has been popularized first by the World Economic Forum and then later by important actors like Johan Rockström, climate scientist from Sweden, and also Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General. And this is essentially, they say we are in the midst of this polycrisis now. It's a world in turmoil, in crisis, and a lot of interconnected crises coming together. And this is too complex for only humans to respond to, so they propose to have this new system, this new governance system with AI that also pick up signals by everyone is connected to digitally connected to the internet, and all our actions are analyzed in more or less real time. And they want to bring this together in a sort of a world brain, a digital crystal ball where you can analyze everything. And if something is happening that you don't like, this digital system with AI will respond immediately. And for example, they have one example with that if a crisis begins to unfold, AI initiates the first step in crisis response. And these agents will work alongside increasingly autonomous physical systems, such as drones and robots.
Mm-hmm. We already spoke last summer about a pact of the future. And in this UN document, they are saying that there will be crisis in the future. They are offering 7 different types of crisis. And you're now mentioning polycrisis. That means lots of crises can come in the same moment. And then AI agent will be the most efficient one who will run this crisis. But I would like also to mention here, you mentioned from the start, this is a global governance technology center. Why global? That means everything has to be run by some global institution, as I understood well.
Yes, so this is a part of World Economic Forum and their Center for the Fourth Industrial Revolution. We have started these centers all over the world, and this global government, I think it's very telling with using that kind of name, because that's what it's all about. And they have decided Berlin to be the first hub, and then they have expanded this also to Kiev in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And because it's easy in a state like Ukraine to implement this kind of solutions. It's a country that is in war, and other laws apply, so they can basically do whatever they like without much interference from normal procedures. And also we have another country that is big on this, that hosts the World Government Summit, that is United Arab Emirates, and that is also telling World Government Summit. So basically what we want to do now is, and they say this is $1 trillion, hundreds of trillions of dollars will be invested in this the coming years to transform governments all over the world. And then they are transformed, they can be put together, and in this, what I have analyzed with the Pact for the Future, where we have certain rules and regulations that will be centrally crafted and decided and executed. So it's a very, very global operation, and we also know that the World Economic Forum is in a partnership with the United Nations since 2019, and also we have United Nations is involved with have written reports about something called public digital infrastructure, and the digital public infrastructure is called, and also cooperating with the G20 group. And that's the biggest economies in the world. Both sides, the West and the East, United States, Russia, and China, nations that is in some way in conflict. But when it comes to implementing these big solutions, they are working together on this. And now it's kind of and that's the Trump rhetoric. We have to be the first ones. We have to defeat the Chinese. But it's so they are competing. Who will be the first one? But all are doing. Everyone is doing it. And everyone is in for this system in the end. And the Pact for the Future will regulate how this will operate in the future.
They will explain for sure to people that purpose will be better efficiency of government and less expenses. But why you think this is danger for if they implement this agentic state?
Well, who will decide the programming of the algorithms? Who will control? Who will be the master of this system? And what kind of society do they want? This is always a danger, and it has never been before. We have had dictators and tyrants and everything running quite small political entities, or in some part larger as well. But this time, it's the whole world that can be run by algorithms. And also, they state that this agentic AI also can rewrite rules. It can adjust. So where will it end? What can it do? We don't know what will happen. And where are the checks and balances in this system? It could run amok. And what's an utopia for some people could develop into dystopia for the rest. That's what I often say about this. So it's and we know that, for example, Klaus Schwab said this at the World Government Summit a couple of years ago. Those who master those technologies will in some way be the master of the world. We can just look on the people that are masters of these technologies. Who are they? Are they the big humanitarians of the world? Or do they have other objectives?
But for sure,
some of them are really ruthless people.
For sure, we don't know yet. It seems that there are big corporations, tech corporations. But as I know, collusion with corporations and state that caused in the past fascism. And now we have a much powerful corporation than states. And if they are running the show, that's more than fascism. That's a new way of fascism. And now, as I see, they have technology to implement total control.
Yeah, that's techno-fascism. Technocracy.
Yeah. Okay, that means we are afraid here that democracy will vanish because there is no democratic control of these processes. But anyhow, they will continue. As you said, they're trying to implement this in Kiev. I think it's obvious why Kiev, because they are in war and there is a lack of democratic checkups. That means somebody who will check it out if they are breaking laws. And you said that they can even adapt laws. And now let's go a little bit further. Let's imagine that there is this agentic state, for example, in Ukraine. 10 years from now, is there any option that will be any elections? Because let me explain. AI can offer some political program that will be in form of AI because they already implemented AI agentic state. That means not anymore state governance. There is no people there. They're just agents. And you don't need to vote for people because you only need to vote for program. That means that some algorithm will offer you what kind of state you want. And you can do this officially from home. That's digital voting. And after that, AI will run the country, not any more politicians. Is my imagination too big, or is this a really threat to our democracy?
Yes, it's right. It's a threat against democracy. And they actually talk about this in this white paper that they will use. They say, oh, this system, isn't this against democracy? Maybe not. don't have to be less democratic, because we will know what people think and how they react. What are their emotions? So they have this in the report. This is a quote: feedback loops such as appeals, time to resolution metrics, or even emotion detection in digital interactions could become inputs for agent-guided policy refinement. So, and this is what also Klaus Schwab said a couple of years ago. We are not going to need to vote in the future, because the system will know what we think already. And we know also that they want to have these ethical boundaries, because you can't think whatever you like. Because if you think whatever you like, it becomes it's not good for democracy. You can have a wrong thought. So they will have their own kind of balancing algorithms to adjust this. It's not like there's no option that you can opt out from certain policies that they want. And that goes for the sustainable development goals, for example.
Well, I see here connection. I had an interview with Jason Christoph about mind control. And he made a great documentary. And he explained how mind control works. That means they already prepared you, format you before you make decisions, for you to make exactly decision that they want. And that's how they can know what we are think, because they will prepare us to think the way they want. This is a great documentary, but this is something what you are telling me now. Yes, this Klaus Schwab said that we don't need any more elections because we will know what people want. But of course they will know, because they will prepare it for them to want exactly what they want. That means they will control us without our, exception.
Yes, and the interesting part of this is in the Pact for the Future, the United Nations document, they also talk about behavioral science and how they will use certain technologies, behavior technologies on people in order to make them make the right decisions. So that's a huge part of the pact, actually. And so they have already implemented programs to take care of how will we use sludging and nudging to make people go the right way. So it's nothing to do with free choice here. It's more like there won't be an option to make another choice than the one we want.
We already saw how they are doing right now. On example of Romania, there was a candidate for president, Calin Georgescu, and they didn't like it because he was the one who knew what's happening in the United Nations, and also he knows what are the plans of globalists. And they just cancel elections, and after a few months, they threw him out of competition. They are doing this on this way. In the future, they will know for sure that if any candidates like him is planning to run, they will eliminate it before even he tried to run for any kind of political function.
Yes, yeah, and that's because that's a threat against the system.
Yeah.
So this is a cybernetic system that will prevent anything that goes against it.
Yeah, and system has big plans, and these big plans called Agenda 2030, and this is 17 sustainable goals, and they are looking great. It's beautiful. Nobody can have anything against it, but in reality, behind this hiding exactly one, we can say, dystopian, communistic or state, but a worldwide state. And as you said, nobody from the globalists is against it. Only they are running and competing each other. Who will be the first one?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's working. So they have this kind of arguments and it's the same as we have in our nations. The political parties, they argue about how are the school? Who are we going to run the schools? How are you going to do that? But that's not important things. They never discuss the important things. It's like in Sweden when we became a member of NATO. There was no debate. There was no. Why should we bother? We have the people involved in this. So that's kind of a level of it. It's we discuss these not so important questions and make them the big issues to talk about. But the other real issues, they are decided in secret meeting rooms for us.
I had the interview also with a guy from Finland, and he told me the same thing. Nobody was publicly discussing about approaching NATO in Finland. Same thing you said now in Sweden. But we see here also a pattern. Again, they're using fear and emergency. Two things. Fear from Russia and emergency because they are just going to attack us and try to, I don't know what, to do with us. And they use both these things to implement something new, this globalist approaching from side of Sweden and Finland. And we see this also now all around Europe because we are increasing budgets for rearming Europe because we are afraid of some big threat. Do you see this pattern also in Sweden?
Yes, very much so. We have, and it's historic, the kind of amount of money that they want to give to the Swedish armed forces. It's astonishing to have. I mean, I come from a country that was known as the peace-loving country, and very much into international relations and United Nations and everything, and be kind to every third world country in the world, and that's how we were raised. Of course, we were always afraid of Russia because Russia took Finland from Sweden in the early 1800s. So we have fought a lot of wars with them, but it has been a part of the Swedish identity to be these peace-loving nations. At the same time, we have sold weapons to a lot of nations because we have a big weapons industry in Sweden, and run by the Rockefellers of Sweden, the Wallenbergs. That is very, very important in controlling much of stock market in Sweden and big corporations and so on. So this has been everywhere, and this has been a shift in how we have been talking and discussing things that has to do with war, and now it's through every so as much money as we can into and increasing the budget. So they actually have followed. I mean, it was Donald Trump that said in that we had to increase the budget for the members of NATO to 5%, and Sweden just gave in and said, they of course didn't have that kind of money, but so they go to the banks and ask for some lending.
Yeah, we will raise credits also in Croatia. They just said that it will be 1.86 billion just for weapons, and that's great debt. That means that will be invested very smart. But we also think that you in Sweden are very rich. That means you have money for new weapons, and that's why whoever wants to fight will be very happy that Sweden is together in this NATO alliance. I'm a little sarcastic, of course. I have to ask you something important concerning this AI, agentic AI. What if, and I read a lot that there is also talking about this, that artificial intelligence can develop their own consciousness. That means they can decide even to turn down decision from men. Even now they are saying that was some cases that AI didn't want to switch it off when men tried. What if this happened? This could be something like in a Matrix film or a Terminator, when they decided to run war against people.
Yes, it's a kind of a Terminator scenario, and actually describe this in my article as well, because that's what's happened when you let these systems decide and also act first before any human can come and say something. So it's a very dangerous. I don't think that this AI can be actually a real intelligence that you can compare to a human, because there's nothing there, but it can be programmed to actually do these things. And also, if you say to this system that it has to defend itself from everything, well, it will do, and it will act like a kind of a god in the end. And we can see this already with people getting involved with AI systems that speaks to them and telling them everything they want to hear, and eventually all the people involved almost get psychotic in the end, because it's so powerful, the messages.
Yes. I reading every day that even young people are using this as a psychiatrist. That means they have their own personal psychiatrist, and in the future maybe they will not need any more friends. But we'll see this, because things are happening very fast now, and this AI is developing very fast. That's why I want to add something more. They are building now, as I see, they are building network for this, and part of this network is our data that they need to collect, and they can connect through digital ID. And Europe decided that each member of European Union will have to implement digital ID until 2030. And this year, in October, European Central Bank is deciding to continue with this central bank digital currency. That means that could be new additional tool to implement all this, what we are discussing about, this dystopian state, because this money can be programmable. That means they can be programmable for how long it lasts, also what you can buy with it, and also where you can buy. That called geofence. That means even territory where you can buy it, they can limit it. And this is here. October is this year. That means we are in the middle of implementation.
Yeah, we are. And I mean, this system, the financial system, the new financial system, that will be CBDC or stable coins, whatever you want to call it. It is the heart, it's the core of this new system, or this agentic state. Because with financial transaction, you will control what people can do all the time, and this will be run by this AI. And the interesting thing, I'm actually writing another article now about how these ideas is getting traction within New Age communities. New Age communities that has been kind of skeptical to what happened during the pandemic and so on, but they are doing the exactly same thing with convincing people of how this new financial system will be fantastic and wonderful, and they will be free of debt, and but essentially you will be become a slave under this system in a manner that, I mean, we have had this banking system for a long time, but we have some kind being slaves to as well, but this is another level on this. So it's a very, 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 very big thing new, and they are very, very quick in implementing it, and it's like they have decided for the year 2030 that's they want to be ready by 2030 with this. So we are in a very, very hectic time.
Yeah. And for the implementing, of course, they will need compliance. And compliance, they can get it if we are afraid of something. And we are in the middle of course, lots of headlines They are talking about climate catastrophe and climate changes that are coming towards us to destroy our planet. And that's a new emergency. And climate rules can be also implemented in using this digital ID or this agentic ID, exactly agentic, agent IE, and also digital money. That means they can make, and they did already, make rules. You can't break it if you want to use this money.
Yes, so it's very, very connected to climate policies, of course. Because the whole new system is based on how much carbon dioxide is emitted from the production of these things that you are using. So it will be used in that way, and then they can say we have to balance this because climate is running amok and bad things are happening. So they will have this AI system to decide on how much you can use. So it's very, very connected with the climate change agenda and also the health agenda. These are the core, and that's climate is the resources of the world, and health is the human resources. So that's, and we have had a lot of discussions also with wearables for health issues and so on, and so everything will be connected to this system so that it can be adjusted so that we don't cross the boundaries for health or for climate. And it's a very, very scary future if it cannot be stopped in its tracks.
Yes, we just signed, exactly, just get in power these international health regulations with WHO. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed with this new treaty. They pull out everything what was endangering human rights, but they are succeed with international health regulations, and that's enough for infrastructure who will find solution in potential future pandemics. And for sure, they said it's not mandatory. Each state can decide for themselves, but everything is connected with this financial system. And there is a great support from international financial institution and also monetary fund, International Monetary Fund, and they support it. That means whoever don't want to implement these new regulations, there will be, of course, some kind of financial punishment, or they will not have access to money. And now we know that everybody is taking loans, as you said, for rearming. That means everybody needs money to rearming. That means they will listen whatever this international World Bank also is connected. Whatever they say, we will have to accept it. And everybody is aware of it. That's a reality of political situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's see. Who possible will lose job very soon if this agentic state will be implemented? For now, it's just a white paper, and that will be a recommendation for policymakers. And then, as we have already experienced for sure, because behind this staying also German and Estonian state, and also WEF is involved. And we know whatever they suggested, usually, especially when is Ursula von der Leyen in charge, coming to the European Commission, and we know that European Commission deciding by themselves. Usually this European Parliament only raising hands. Sometimes even they don't raise hand, they just accepting without any consultation. That means that will be suggested to the political decision makers. How fast you think that will be implemented in, for example, Europe?
In a couple of years. I would say 5 years from now will be very different if they get their way. So now they are investing a lot of these technologies, and the people that we have a lot of bureaucrats that will not be needed, and also the governments are also funding a lot of NGOs to influence human opinion, public opinion. And those might not be needed in the same way in the future. And we can see this with the Doge program in United States, that they we can think, oh, it's good that they get rid of a lot of these stupid things, but it's not that way. It's just we don't need that kind of the old system, and it's inefficient, and it's a lot of money we're running to these programs. But now we have another way. We will use the AI systems to influence opinion instead, so it will be much easier. So it's a lot of people involved in getting money from government, not outside government as well, working with this public perception and things that will not be needed. So, and it's not like I didn't really like that system either. I wrote about it in my PhD thesis about how European Union was involved with a lot of these programs and funding NGOs everywhere to influence people. So I thought it was just a ridiculously crazy system. But so it's not like a lot of people did a good job before, but it's now we don't need it anymore, and it's now it becomes impossible to do anything about it, because an AI will decide it's no human there, it's no human that can get in the way, because in an administration with all people involved, it can always be people that think outside the box and so on, and they can be in way try to prevent some things from happening, but with an AI system, it's so a lot of people will have to leave their jobs, and the ones left will be the technicians, the engineers, and programmers in some way. But even that them can be replaced now with a system that kind of adjusts these things for itself.
Yes, for sure. I think the ones who are making codes will be necessary, but other programmers that don't need, because artificial intelligence can make any program we want. We already see now, I saw that in China, they're already building roads without any man. That means everything is built by machineries and by artificial intelligence. Also, I saw there is a school, university just opened last summer, where artificial intelligence is already replaced all the teachers. That means we are facing it. This is happening. You said that the bureaucrats from the state will lose job. Maybe it's a good thing, because we think that expenses of state are too big. It's another thing. But also, for example, I think what will happen with the banks and the people who are working in banks, if they implement central bank digital currency, there will be no need anymore for banks, especially if it happens what some of my guests, I spoke with Professor Richard Werner. He said that in case of this implementation, they will not need any more banks, because there will not be any more intermediary between clients and state, exactly in the central bank.
Yes, and we can see it already with banks, what has happened, because the banks has been the first ones that has just look at the banking sector in the 70s and 80s, how big it was and how many banks we had, and we had offices in every city, everywhere, and now we're closing down, and so they have already started that process, and of course the rest of it will be we can get rid of it.
Maybe we will get rid of the politicians who are responsible that everything what we are talking about came in this stage right now. But they just might, humble opinion.
Yes, I think some of our politicians will, because they have been useful, very useful, and they have been awarded for it. They have very good salaries and pensions and everything. So they just follow these orders from these masters that want this system in place. But when the system is in place, they're not needed anymore.
But
they'll be thrown under the bus.
I think they were useful idiots, mostly of them.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. You know what this means, useful idiot. That means they are doing something in their favor and they are not aware of it.
Yeah.
We said today lots of bad news for our audience, but is there any chance that people who want to be free, who want to make decisions for themselves, who wants to live according to nature, who don't want to use this technology to bring them in a digital prison, what you can suggest to them how to fight against this?
Well, I usually talk about we have this new system coming that is artificial, and it's run by artificial intelligence. But we have a kind of natural intelligence. Some would call it a divine intelligence. But I think override this system. For my example, I've come in contact with a lot of people all over the world that has empowered me and coming together, understanding these things. It creates kind of an alternative way to walk, because if you're aware of it, you can take actions that is better for you. Of course, it's very, very hard with the kind of control that they are building, and especially in Sweden, we have already digital ID with a kind of a bank ID used for a lot of things. And it's almost impossible to buy, for example, a beer at the pub in Sweden without, you have to have digital money and everything. But I have a kind of positive feel for this in the end, because I don't think this system can work. It's based on hubris and the thinking, very high regard of the technical innovations that we have, and that this will actually work. And we know with technology we have failures, and it's run on energy. And it requires this big energy supply to have this machinery in place. And I mean, it has to be maintained. It's a lot of things. And now we are trying to, with a Stargate project in the United States, for example, building these enormous AI centers. And it's big, and it's expensive, and it's everything. The natural world that we are living in, it works anyway, and we could step out of it. We don't need that. So I think a lot of this is a kind of an illusion. We are building this illusion for us so that, oh, there's no other way. We have to do this, but we don't. And the power that this system and these people running this it's built on that illusion. It's an illusion of power, but we actually have power within ourselves, and we have to. And also, with that said, you have also to connect to other people, of course, that understands this and raise the awareness everywhere, and that's what we have been doing now for a couple of years, and I think it's like I come in contact with new people all the time, and also I've sold a lot of books where people starting to understand these things. So I'm kind of positive in the end, and also if this is a time when we're trying to put in this machinery, and that's the most difficult part of building the new system, because now we're trying to push it in, and they will, as we said, a lot of people will lose their jobs, and even the politicians will lose their jobs. And sometime during this process, it's like even those who are defending this hardcore will find out. And so it's very, very, very tricky to get the last piece in this machinery in place. So I think it's our chance in the end.
You wrote everything in detail in your books. Can you tell to our audience which books they can buy about your work and where?
Yes, I have this. This is my latest book. It's called The Temple of Solomon. And this came out in December. And it talks a lot about what's happening on the world stage now, but also with kind of a spiritual touch, and how they are using kind of spiritualism to gain support for this AI agenda, and eventually installing a kind of an AI god in the end. So this is and this can be bought from my web shop, and you can find it at jakobom.se. And I also have a couple other books. One about Rockefeller philanthropy's influence on the world and world events from the late 1800s to this day, and that is that can be found on internet bookstores like Amazon. And I don't really like Amazon, but you can buy it there. And also another book called The Global Coup d'etat, and that's about what happened during the pandemic, and those influencing the agenda and what they were trying to achieve. And that's also out on Skyhorse, and it has worldwide distribution. And it can also be found in German and Polish and French, and Spanish now in this autumn.
Thank you, Jakob, for your work. There is also Substack that you're writing every day, and whoever wants to speed up and see what is happening, they can go to your Substack and see everything and follow, because the only way to fight against something, you need to first understand it.
Yes, that's crucial, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Evo, dragi narode, možda ste danas čuli puno loših vijesti, a možda i nisu tako loše. Nemojte ubiti nosioca vijesti, a to sam u ovom slučaju ja. Međutim, nova tehnologija AI je nešto što možemo usporediti sa pronalaskom mašine sa unutarnjim izgaranjem, koji je brzo i neminovno zamijenio konja i kočije. Jednostavno, tehnologija je toliko napredovala, toliki je to kvantni skok da je nemoguće zaustaviti. Tako je i sa umjetnom inteligencijom, koja, ako se dobro znate s njom služiti, uistinu može jako puno pomoći. Međutim, kao što vidite, nosi i velike opasnosti, pogotovo ako znamo da oni koji brinu o našem dobru razmišljaju malo drugačije od nas. Oni su više zainteresirani da vladaju nama nego da nam uistinu daju nešto dobrog. Kako tehnologija brzo napreduje, puno sporije za njim dolaze i zakonske regulative koje sprečavaju zloupotrebu toga. I tu svjedočimo i s umjetnom inteligencijom i sa ovom Agentic State, koja sama kaže da može dorađivati zakone i propise. Prema tome, ako vi idete kontrolirati nekoga ko može dorađivati zakone, onda vi ne kontrolirate ništa, nego ste kontrolirani. To je ono što nam se ovog trenutka događa i ne možemo tome pobjeći. Dakle, to ulazi u našu svakodnevnicu, to ulazi u naše države i ja se slažem da treba država biti puno efikasnija i da velika birokracija smeta, stvara velike troškove i stvara ono što mi tradicionalno nazivamo uhljebima. Međutim, do koje granice se smije upotrijebiti tehnologija, do one granice dok ne budu stvarno ugrožena naša prava i slobode, a ne do nekoga koji misli, koji želi s tim upravljati. Dakle, njegova granica je puno dalje nego naša. Stoga je važno što prije otvoriti raspravu o tome, postavljati pitanja, razgovarati o tome da li nam uopće treba Central Bank Digital Currency, jer po ponudama koje nudi novi sustav centralnog bankarstva, to nam ne nudi ništa više nego što već sada imamo. Pa se postavlja logično pitanje, a zašto uvodimo nešto novo koje nam ne daje nijednu novu prednost? A donosi nam opasnosti, one koje sam i danas spominjao, da nam ograniči korištenje novca za određenu svrhu ili u određenom teritoriju ili na određeni rok. Kažu da to neće koristiti. Obećavaju. Kako da im vjerujemo? Zašto uopće postoji ta opcija koje nećeš koristiti. Ima predlaga javnih koji su puno mudriji, a to je jednostavno zabraniti da ne postoji opcija programiranja. Što će ti ako je nećeš koristiti? Tu ima puno logike za raspravu javno, međutim te rasprave javne nema, kao što primjećujete, malo emisija ima na tu temu, malo ima opće političkih rasprava, oni koji donose odluke, a bolje da ne znate na koji način se donose odluke u Europskoj centralnoj banci ili u Europskom parlamentu, jer bi onda sve shvatili da u stvari oni koji dižu ruke, i ako ih uopće dižu, ne znaju za što dižu ruke. Dakle, jednostavno, demokracija je odavno u Europskom parlamentu umrla, odnosno poprimila oblik koji ne liči na izabrane delegate od ljudi, nego liči na dizača ruku koji ponekad ne moraju ni dići ruku. Jer odluke donose jedan federalizirani oblik upravljanja. To možemo vidjeti i na našem premijeru koji se tome jako dobro uklopio, jer taj mentalitet upravljanja od gore prema dole koji smo naslijedili i neki su i odgojem dobili u komunizmu, živi i dalje ima tendenciju da upravlja nama, a danas im tehnologija to i omogućava. Nadam se da ste zadovoljni sa ovom emisijom. Ja sam tu da vam donesem informacije, ja sam tu da pokušam vas kroz te informacije potaknuti na razmišljanje i da razgovarate sa svojim prijateljima, susjedima, kolegama na poslu, da te postavite sebi pitanje koja je svrha uvođenja sve ove tehnologije koja ide za našu dobrobit, koju ne znam da li uopće treba neko drugi brinuti, jer koliko znam, mnogi od nas smo odrasli dovoljno da se brinemo sami o sebi i da nam ne trebaju tutori koji će znati bolje što je bolje za nas nego nas samih. Stoga, ovo je prilika da, bez da se ljutite na mene što donosim ovakve vijesti, razgovarate, provjerite na kraju krajeva i možda u jednom trenutku potaknete veliki broj svojih poznanika i prijatelja da zatraže javnu raspravu i da možda sa zajedničkim snagama odupremo svemu onome što nas u budućnosti, već sada nas, a kamoli našu djecu, može dovesti u novo distopijsko društvo u kojem ćemo živjeti kao u digitalnom zatvoru, koji će možda izgledati kao zlatni kavez, ali kako znamo, sloboda je najveća vrijednost svakog čovjeka i svake nacije na svijetu, pa tako i danas sloboda nam je puno važnija od tog tehnološkog napretka. Hvala lijepo na pažnji i uskoro se vidimo u sljedećoj epizodi Slobodi.